Now on what to expect this week, starting tomorrow morning with the testimony of Jennifer Williams and Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman. Joining us is Intelligence Committee member and Illinois Democrat, Congressman Raja Krishnamoorthi. Congressman, thanks so much for being with us again.
Thanks, Anderson.
What do you make of this new reporting that the president's been considering moving impeachment witnesses like Lieutenant Colonel Vindman out of the White House back to their home departments ahead of schedule?
Again, I think this is part of a pattern with the president. It's very unfortunate, but it's not surprising. And it's another form of witness intimidation where the president's basically saying, if you come out and tell the truth, and if you persist with coming forward before our committees, there will be consequences. That's a form of retaliation, form of intimidation at this point. And so very, very disturbed by those particular pieces of news.
And Ambassador Sondland is going to be testifying this week. There obviously remain gaps, inconsistencies in his earlier testimony. Is the committee's focus Wednesday going to be attempting to clarify exactly what he knew and when he knew it? Because even this call that David Holmes has now testified about hearing, that is not something that Ambassador Sondland, even in his revised testimony, when he amended it after hearing the testimony of other people that contradicted his original testimony, he still didn't mention this call.
Right. Well, I'd like to think that, his memory was refreshed when he heard of what other people said subsequent to his deposition, and that's what prompted the clarification in his addendum. Perhaps he's going to remember more on Wednesday as well. There's just so many events, so many meetings and phone calls and indeed text messages where he's a central figure. I'll just point to one which he mentioned in his declaration, which is the Warsaw meeting on September 1st, where he and Mr. Morrison and Ambassador Sondland all say that basically Ambassador Sondland told the Ukrainian, a very high-ranking official, Mr. Yermak, that military assistance is conditioned on the announcement of an investigation. Period. End of story. And so that's very, very important. And, I think that there might be other revelations that he makes at his open hearing testimony as well.
Is it clear to you why Ambassador Sondland was even involved in Ukraine? I mean, he's the ambassador to the European Union. There's obviously a lot of stuff going on with the European Union. Ukraine is not part of that. Is it clear the chain that got him in the middle of all this, other than being a Trump donor?
Well, it's not entirely clear. What we know is that Marie Yovanovitch, the ambassador to the Ukraine, was really at the heart of our foreign policy in Ukraine all the way up until she was unceremoniously fired, basically May 20th of this year. On that date, basically the three amigos, Volker, Sondland, and Perry, under the direction of Giuliani and the president, commandeered our foreign policy at that point in the Ukraine, not necessarily in the best interests of America, but the evidence points to them basically operating in the best interests of Giuliani's clients, people like Donald Trump and other international actors. And so, those three amigos parachuting in around May 20th and then being told on May 23rd in the Oval Office that they are basically going to be taking charge of Ukraine policy is really central to the alleged scheme that happened here in Ukraine.
Congressman, I appreciate your time tonight. Thank you very much. A lot
Absolutely.
Thank you. On this week. Appreciate it.